Hi everyone! It's been a few weeks since I've been on here, so I can't wait to see some of y'all's faces. Oh, well, names, not faces. There we go. Let's make sure we are on. Yay. We are good to go. Last time somehow I hid y'all's chat and I couldn't see anything, so I'm excited to chat with you guys a little bit today about launching new leaders. And this was something that I presented at, hey Lindsay from Houston. You can hear me okay? Now sound? You can't hear me. Can everybody else hear me, or is it just Hottie K? Okay, yes. Okay, good. Hottie K, I'm sorry, it must be your phone. Hey guys, I'm so glad to see you guys popping on here. I'm gonna try to talk with you guys a little bit today about launching new leaders, and it's pretty much I'm gonna go off my presentation that I shared at Leadership, because I'm not going to the West Leadership, so I'm gonna miss all of you. So those of you who are able to be a part of the breakout session with the Platinums and the Diamonds, I had the honor of talking with all of you about launching new leaders. And so I had such a good feedback from this. A lot of people have asked me to do a call on this, or to do a scope on it. So that's why I'm here today. So I'm going to do a scope on it, and I'm going to share with you guys a little bit more about launching new leaders and the steps to take to actually make that easy for you. But first I want to tell you guys a little story. When I was a little girl, my father was a speaker. Actually, he was a pastor. So I used to travel all over with him, and he did speaking engagements at different churches. And so he used to let me travel with them, and I loved it. And I would sit on the front row during many of these presentations that he gave, and I would hear the same story many times. And every time I would hear it, I knew it was coming, and my eyes would start to water, and it always has teared me up. So if I start crying just a little bit, don't hate me here. I'm giving you a fair warning. So it's about this little girl. It's about a really wealthy family who collected these porcelain dolls, and they would go to the ends of the world to get the most expensive porcelain dolls. They lived in this beautiful mansion, looked like a castle. That's kind of how I visioned it as a little girl. And they had a room that was solely dedicated to their collection of these porcelain dolls that were thousands and thousands of dollars. And they collected them for their little 8-year-old girl. And this lady came over one day to take a tour of the porcelain dolls, and she wanted to look at all of them. And the little girl answered the door, took her by the hand, and walked her back into this room that was filled with, millions of dollars worth of these beautiful porcelain collectible dolls. And the lady was just walking through, and she's just like, oh my gosh, these are beautiful, these are stunning, these are amazing. And she looked at the little girl and she said, which one of these is your favorite? And the little girl said, my favorite's not in here. And so, of course, working it up in her head, this older lady thought, oh my gosh, it must be in a vault, and it's so expensive. It's behind a glass counter and you can't touch it. And she said, can I see it? And the little girl said, sure, and ran away. And so she's thinking, oh my goodness, is she going to bring out this big, glass case with a $1 million doll in it? And the little girl walks around the corner holding her doll, just like this, and rocking it. And the lady looked at it, and it was this Raggedy Ann doll that had an eyeball out. It had a leg chewed off by the dog. It had homemade stitches from stuffing being pulled off, and it was a wreck. And she looked at the little girl, and she looked at the doll, and the little girl's just still standing there rocking it. And she said, honey, why is this your favorite doll? And the little girl looked up at her and said, because if I didn't love it, nobody else would. And so I tell that story because I was that Raggedy Ann doll when I started doTERRA. And I know many of you are maybe right now, or were that Raggedy Ann doll. And somebody showed you enough love and I don't even know the word, enough love to help you become who you are today. And I never want to forget that's where I came from. And I never want to forget that at one point in my life, I was a Raggedy Ann hot mess. And that's honestly, I want to attract people like that. And so I want to be real, and I want to always remember who I was when I started this business. And so I look at the topic of launching new leaders as one of the best gifts that you can give to your team. Instead of it being one of the most dreaded things that you do for your team, I want you to look at it as that story, and I want you to remember that story that I just told you. Somebody saw something in you, and that's why you're here today. I mean, that's why I'm sitting here as I don't care about rank at all. But that's why I'm sitting here successful in this business, and now I'm able to help other people do and go through what I've gone through. So it's the most beautiful gift that you can give anybody, because it's going to change their life. If not through changing their health, then it's going to change their business and their financial situation. So change your mindset. Instead of it being something like, I know so many people who dread the fact that somebody has just come to them and asked them how to launch a business. They're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Lead with your heart. And I know it's more than that, and I'm not being all fluffy here and want to tell you go out and do good and without giving you the practical steps to do that. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So I want you to think about launching new leaders at very similar. If you just take it, it's like launching new customers, okay? You're going to use the same skill sets as you do in launching new customers or enrolling customers. You're going to invite people to the business, just like you invite them to classes. You're going to present to them the business opportunity. You're going to enroll them in the business, and you're going to then go on to supporting them and training them just like you would train a new customer. So it uses the same skill sets. So if you have gotten good at selling oils, then it's time for you to get good at selling this business. And that's what we do, guys. We sell. And there's nothing wrong with that. So sell is not a dirty word to me, because selling is what we do. And I believe that if I can give somebody a good impression of a salesperson, then they're going to appreciate that and love that, all right? And because I'm truly helping them, then they're going to look at me as a salesperson that they want to be around. All right, so your job as somebody who is launching them is, number one, to help them reach their goals. Hands down, it's not about you, and it's not about putting pressure on them to do anything more than what they want to do. So it's to help them reach their goals. Number two, it's to educate them on the oils. Number four, it's to train them to sell and train them in using the skill sets that they need to do that. Number four, to create empowerment and not entitlement. And then number five is to keep things simple. So your job as a leader is not to put pressure on them or to put them in a position that you are putting pressure on them. Your job is not to make them do things that they don't want to do. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Your job is not to create entitlement and to be their mommy, all right? Your job is to empower them and to teach them how to do this business simply. So let's keep things simple as we move forward in launching new leaders, all right? How can we actually take a leader from coming to you or texting you and saying, hey, Jackie, I want to build this business. What do I got to do now? What do we do with them after we hear them say that to us? All right, so let's talk a little bit about our first conversation with them about the business. All right, so how many of us have our big bag? Oh, big bag filled up with business overviews, the compensation plan. Oh my goodness, I've got all this good stuff in here, and I'm just going to vomit it all over my new builder. I'm going to take it all out and say, oh my gosh, look, you can get paid 5 different ways. And oh my goodness, here's the big launch guide. Here's our unilevel. Oh, you want to share? All right. So here's how to host a class. Oh my gosh, what else do I have in here? Ah, how to keep things simple. Okay. And then all of a sudden, we have completely ruined our opportunity. And the reason why and how that we have ruined it is because we talk too much. We didn't shut our mouth. We're too nervous. We have no idea what we're supposed to say the first time we talk to them. And so we verbally vomit all over them. So what is the thing that we do need to say to somebody the first time that they want to talk about the business? So you want to make sure that when you go to them, you set up an appointment, all right? You get together with them, and you sit down and you talk to them. And actually, you don't really talk. You listen. So my kids are just home from school right now, so they're going to walk through. Hey, guys.
Please say hi. Please say hi.
Mwah. I'll be right upstairs, okay?
All right, go, Frankie. Go.
So, a lot of people call this a business overview. Some people call it business opportunity discussion. I'm sorry, my signal keeps dropping, guys. Hey, Gani. Let me see if I can get on LTE. Hold on one second. How do I move this up, Frank? Oh, it's fine? Okay, good. Maybe it's just your connection. All right, so the first time that we talk with them, so we're gonna schedule an appointment. We're gonna get together with them, and we're going to sit down. And what are we going to say during that first conversation? I want you guys to take away like any kind of flyers you got. Leave them at home for right now, because your heart and their heart doesn't need a flyer, and you don't need notes. All you need is a blank piece of paper. All right, so what are the topics that you're going to discuss with them? Well, this is the opportunity where you get to the root of what they truly want to do with their business. So the first question you're going to ask them is what are their goals? Like, what do they want to do? And a lot of people have a really hard time with this because they don't set goals, and they don't see the importance in setting a goal. So kind of get this out of them by digging a little bit and asking questions like, or giving yourself as an example. When I started, I just want to make an extra $600 a month. Is that something that you're interested in? Or do you just hope to get your oils paid for? You want to really start digging at what their goals are and why they're even approaching you about the business opportunity that they have before them. So maybe they have a money goal. They want to make more money, which is completely fine. I have a diamond who hit about 6 months ago, and his goal was just to make a bunch of money, and that's okay. You might get somebody who just wants to be home with their kids more. Maybe their goal is more time freedom. So this is really important for you to know, because as you create your launch plan with them, you have to know what they want. All right, second is you need to know their dreams. All right, and you guys have heard me tell this so many times, but I'll tell it one more time. When I started in this business, some weird doTERRA leader was doing a retreat or something that I went to on vision boards. And I say this was a weird leader because I had never really thought about vision boards before, and I just thought he was so weird listening to him talk about vision boards, because I had forgotten how to dream. And I remember over the course of a few weeks that I started thinking about this vision board thing that he was talking about. And I thought, you know what the heck? Like, whatever. So I was so cheap that I didn't even really have a board. So I remember putting tape on the wall. I put it wasn't even washi tape. It was like electrician tape, like black tape. And I made a square on the wall, and I knew I was supposed to fill that square up with my dreams. And so I just remember putting on the board a big red barn, because I really, really wanted a big red barn. I wanted land, and I wanted animals, and I wanted chickens, and I wanted a garden. I wanted my kids to run freely around, and I didn't have to keep an eye on them. See, there are ulterior motives. But I put that on the board, and I just remember going to that board every day. And at first I was just like, Jackie, this is so stupid. I can't believe you're doing this. And I had to really talk myself out of that mindset. And I went to the board, and I would stand in front of it looking at my red barn and thinking and closing my eyes as if I was standing in that red barn and hearing the chickens and feeling the kids run by me, smelling the hay. And I connected my actions in doTERRA to that feeling I had when I was standing in that red barn in my head. And there was nothing, guys, that was going to stand in my way of achieving that dream and getting that dream. And after a while, I said, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. This is our dream. We're going to achieve it. And I didn't just say that. I actually did something. So, needless to say, you guys have all seen my red barn. Let's see. It's right out there. I can kind of see it through my window. So I want you and your leaders to find your red barn. And it might not be a red barn, okay? But you have to know what their dreams are. You have to know what their red barn is, so that you can connect the next steps in this business to that, so that nothing will stand in their way if that is what they truly want to achieve. All right, next you need to know their strengths and you need to know their weaknesses. And so as you're sitting there with the first chat with them, asking them, what are you really good at? What do you love doing? What are your hobbies? Those will help you discover what those are. And then also asking them, what are your weaknesses? Or you can say worries. What are your worries? Maybe about this business, and having that really open conversation with them. So if they don't know, then one of the best tools you can give your new leader is the Strength Finder 2.0. It's an amazing book that has a access code where they can go online and take a test to really find out what their strengths are. Also, like their love language. What is their love language? Like, it's really important for you as a leader to know what their love language is so that you can speak that to them. And then one of the best and most powerful things that you can say to them as their new leader and mentor is, well, what do you expect from me as your mentor? And honestly, when I ask this question to people and lay out those expectations of what they want from me, it's nothing more than what I'm going to be doing already. And this is also a really good time for you to say what your expectations are. After you hear all that from them, simply saying and leading into the conversation, well, your expectations are right on. I'm absolutely do that for you, but I have a few of my own. I expect you to show up, and I expect you to be consistent. And I also expect you to be honest with me. If there's something that's not jiving with what you were doing, I want you to be honest with me and let me know that. So that is your first conversation with them. And so once you have that chat with them, you're able to really see their heart and craft a plan, a launch plan. And it's not cookie cutter. That's why I don't really use anything that's cookie cutter, because everybody is very different. So I want to make sure that my launch plan is relating to them and their needs. If they don't want to do classes, they just want to do one-on-ones, then I want to make sure that I help them do that. in the whole process of that. So craft the plan with them. And the basic plan for all leaders, the heart of it all, is going to bring it back to their goals. You're going to encourage them and teach them. You're going to speak their love language and their strengths. You're going to help them connect their action steps to their goals and their dreams. And you're also going to help them find solutions when they get stuck. So that's the basic plan. Now, how do you move forward with all that in mind? You want, at this point, this is a separate time. So you want to have whatever foundational training that you do is now it's time to do that with them. So I know a lot of people do Share Success Launch. A lot of people do Edge Quick Start or Edge Boot Camp. Whatever you do at that time, this is where it falls in. And now as you realize, I have not yet talked about the comp plan with them. I haven't talked about all the ways they're going to get paid in the unilevel and the bonus pools. Actually, you guys, the first time somebody said the leadership pool thing to me, I actually thought it was a pool that you swim in and it was going to be given to all the leaders. So I really thought I was earning myself a real pool. So I actually worked my butt off to get in that leadership pool. So I'll call it your foundational training. So your foundational training will be 2 to 4 hours. And this is with your new leader after your first conversation, after you've gone home and you've thought about it and you now have crafted an idea for how you can launch them. And the basics of your foundational training is what all of us know. We're going to teach them how to work toward their goals. We're going to teach them about the kits. So they are selling kits. I train my people not to just sell oils. I teach my people to sell kits. And so I really want them to understand the starter kits, and I want them to understand the most popular starter kits and really get good at understanding 2 to 3 of the starter kits, not 10 of the starter kits. So I'm going to really go over the starter kits with them, the oils that are in it, because that is what they're going to be presenting on. So I teach also how to invite. So that might take 30 minutes. And you can break this conversation up, obviously, into 2 to 4 different phone calls or one-on-one chats with them. You're going to teach them how to present. You're going to teach them how to present, that's the same. You're going to teach them how to close a class. And then you're going to teach them the basic comp plan. So that is what you're going to teach them in your foundational training with your new leaders. I am a huge believer in supporting my new leaders when they are launching. So I always have classes that are continuing education classes that they can direct their new enrollments back to, so that they're not worried about doing that continuing education because they probably don't feel confident enough in that. I really want them to nail how to do a one-on-one, how to do a class, and the oils that are in those. And that's it. I'll take on the rest of that. So I really make sure that I'm supporting them in their new enrollments during this process. So let's just say, you help them teach the first 1 to 3 classes, whatever your rule is. And now it's, they teach it on themselves. After about 10 to 20 of their own one-on-ones or 10 to 20 classes, it's now to do an advanced follow-up training with them. And so this is a time where you're going to get together with them. So we got the first chat, we've got foundational training, and now we have our follow-up advanced training. So 3 separate conversations and broken up into how many times you want to do it. So your follow-up training is where you actually really sit down with them and you have another heart-to-heart. What are you loving about this business? And what are you dreading? What do you hate doing? Because that's going to help you identify skills that need improvement. If they're really great at getting people to their classes, then if they're not enrolling, then it's got to be something with their close. And so it's time to role play. All right. I'm a huge believer in role playing and practicing right now. I'm a believer in scripts and learning how to say something right and perfecting it that way. So just going through that with them so that you can figure out what's not working and what we can change up to make it work. It's also a really good time to teach them how to now track their success. So some people use a fast track planner from Edge, some people use the launch guide from Share Success. But however it is, tracking your success is absolutely necessary in this business because it's all in the follow-up. And it's really hard to keep track in your head of where you're at with follow-up. So you have to teach them some kind of tracking system. And this is a really good time to do that. Before now, you're going to confuse the heck out of them and you're going to completely lose and overwhelm them. So this is a good time for that to happen. And lastly, just remember that action is going to create confidence in them. If they're too scared to really do anything, your love and your encouragement is going to really help them put what they know into action. How many of us remember the first time we enrolled somebody? Tap the screen. Do you remember the first time that you enrolled somebody in doTERRA and how amazing that felt to get that win under your belt? You felt like you could do anything, right? So you should have that in mind when you're launching a new leader. I want to help my new leader enroll somebody as quick as possible because action is going to create confidence in them. They can read all the books that they want. They can study all the personal development books that they want, but it's not going to create the confidence that teaching a first class or a one-on-one is going to create in them. So plug them into your team and your online support. So like I said, I support my leaders. I want to make sure that I'm supporting their new enrollments and with continuing education. So we do Facebook Live in our customer group. We do Monday night educational classes. We have an essential oils for beginners every single month so they can direct their team to their new enrollments to that. I've got my oils now what every single month so they can invite their new enrollments to that too. And we've got topic-based classes every single night. So there is that support system in place that they don't have to worry about. As well for the building side of it all. You know, I coach my team, I support them. I direct them to trainings that I love, that I feel will make drastic changes on their life. So support, taking that weight off of them is going to be huge. I can't even tell you how big that's going to be. So that they can only truly focus on those income producing activities right now. Presenting, enrolling, inviting, follow-up membership overviews, and that's it. All right, that's what I want my new leaders to focus on until they hit the rank of Premier, okay? I've used the launch guide before. Like I said, it depends on if somebody is a paper person or if they're like me. Like if you were to hand me the launch guide, I would probably not be here. And I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to meet leaders like that or people who are interested in building. And if you were to hand them the launch guide, they would look at it and go, this is way too much for me. So it really just depends on who you are launching. You could rip pages out of the launch guide and say, hey, just work on this. So whatever works for you guys and whatever works for your new leaders and whatever systems, you use, just kind of apply it to that. And then, of course, the biggest point to really drive home is supporting them one-on-one. So doing those weekly mentor calls with them and really helping them specifically with whatever they're going through. That's going to be really the game changer for them. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. This was something that I was asked to do. So feel free to share it with your teams and your leaders. Also, it'll be uploaded onto YouTube, so you'll be able to find it on there. So thanks for joining me on this. What is it, Tuesday? Thanks for joining me on this Tuesday. It's been a long time since I've done a scope, so it was great to be on here again. And I hope that those of you who are going to the West Leadership have an amazing time. Some really, really awesome announcements that you're going to love. And yes, I do three-way calls. I have done three-way calls before if they are needed, for sure. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and we'll see you guys on the next scope. Bye.